catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
We're live,
folks. Oh yeah. We packing somebody up tonight. Hey. Come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat packing the air, we about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe, you already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the trade, yes and no, friends and the foes, the butlers and the heroes. You can feel it in your soul, the win the ring is the goal. But if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing. Like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes, going hard for the team. Going down in the basement. It's going down in the basement. Get your takes off. Get your takes off. Going down in the basement.
Welcome to just probably one of the most devastating Heat games as a fan. Really nothing went right for this team the whole game. I think they were down by 10 with like 3 minutes left. Jimmy basically brought us back with fumes. He had nothing tonight. Brought us back with fumes. Gets fouled by Horford on a crazy play. Ends up for 3 free throws. He makes all 3. We take the lead. They put 3 seconds on the clock. I thought Boston went way too quick on their action. Ball rolls in and out, and no one picks up Derek White, who was the inbounder on the last play. No one picks him up, which I think is just very fundamental basketball. The last question is about who was in a stretch where you needed defense. I just don't understand having the white guys in there in a possession where you need to stop. I just don't feel like they do anything right when you need the defense. I know I've been questioned before on Twitter by like Coach Ferentino. He's always said, you can't put guys in cold. I think he can for a possession. I think he could throw in a Haywood Highsmith for one possession. That's what he's on the team for. He's on the team to play defense. So why wouldn't you, let him do it? So the Heat lose 104-103. Derek White basically gets the shot off with like, I think left his hand with like 0.1 seconds left. And they're going back to Boston to win. They're going to win. We can talk about all the stats about teams down 0-3 and coming back. This is only the 4th time a team has forced a Game 7, but it's the first time that a team will be on their home court. So I don't think the stats matter anymore. I think they're daunting stats because you don't really expect a team up 3-0 to miss 3 opportunities to close out, but this Heat team did, and it is what it is. They'll have one shot to try to right the ship, but I think the ship sailed. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I'm seeing like donations pop up. I want to get to them. I don't even know how to bring them up on the screen.
Dan the Film Gent. Consistency is key. Why did no one put a guy on White? Well, we did have Strus with his ass to White on the inbound. And then he didn't follow his man after the fact. But appreciate the $5, Dan, as always. And then we got $20 here from James Todd. This is worse than the Allen Houston shot. 10 times worse. We were right there. This was literally deja vu. The same thing down to a Jimmy 3 at the other end, and we lose again in haunting fashion. I'm sick, man. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all pretty much in hell at this point. This team is on the verge of history, not being the second 8th seed ever to make the finals. They are on the verge of being the first ever team in NBA history being reverse swept down or up 0-3 or 3-0 to losing 4-3. Yeah, I mean, we're all feeling it. The game was absolutely abysmal. I thought it starts and ends for me with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. They were absolutely atrocious this entire game, except for Jimmy the last 2.5 minutes of the game. Your leaders were pathetic. There's nothing more to say about it, in my opinion. Shout out to Caleb and Gabe and Duncan for keeping them in the game with the threes for 45 of the 48 minutes. But other than that, the effort from Jimmy was non-existent for about 45 of those minutes as well. And Bam missed about 13 bunnies. So overall, just absolute trash. I guess we'll just hop around the panel here. We'll go to Maserati next. Just general thoughts on the game.
Bro, that is easily one of the most heartbreaking losses in Heat history, obviously. But, bro, this season in general cannot be just, anything short of hell. This is absolutely the most wild Heat season, ever. Because I can't even fathom what Jimmy Butler is thinking walking past walking out of that game. It just feels so similar to when Kawhi hit that shot against Philly. I would love to be wrong about this. And Harry, you already said it, but I just do not see a way they win this one in Boston. Like you said, it's the first time this team's going to be at home. That momentum, hitting a game winner like that. I mean, and again, bro, we're just one Caleb Martin not good game away from not being even close in this game. You know what I mean? It's just the only way they can win on Monday is if Jimmy gets 50 plus in a crazy way, just like he did against Milwaukee. That is the only way, and it's not going to happen. Bam played absolutely terrible tonight in a really, really big spot, and I really thought, man, that it could have been wiped away completely with that block. And I was like, he blocked Tatum again, and you know how the possession ended, but it's just, bro, that is next level pain for real. That is dejecting. That's heartbreaking. And we'll go around and talk about, I guess, if you want to talk about whose fault, whatever, but they ran it back, and they are really going to be the same exact short, pretty much. Quite literally, we'll see how 7 plays out, obviously, but if you just view it from this point forward, they will be right there again. And bro, I can't get some images from that game out of my head so far, man. Jimmy just saying the one stop, UD, the one stop, everybody was so locked in, and Strus did not pick that guy, did not pick Derek White up. Dude, seriously, when I saw that ball not go to Tatum or Brown, I was like, you did your job, right? Don't let Tatum or Brown get it. I had no faith that Smart was going to hit that shot. The shot looks better, to be fair, from Smart than I thought it would. And Derek White was right there. I mean, that's crazy. And I know the Heat are going to say all the right things, but I don't forget Jimmy Butler guaranteed a win before this game, man. I don't know how much that's going to be talked about. Jimmy might kind of get away with that because of how this game ended, but he guaranteed a win. He guaranteed we're going to win the series. And now there's a really good chance. I mean, Vegas is going to have the Celtics as 6.5, 7-point favorites at home in this game, as they should. They are now officially favored to be the first team in 152 times to blow this 3-0.
It's 8.5 right now. Just letting you know.
8.5, and Boston will be rocking. If you think the refs are going to give you calls, they gave us no calls tonight because it's the biggest moment of the year. They're getting none in Boston on whatever it is Monday. None. Jaylen Brown got in foul trouble tonight. You couldn't stop Marcus Smart for so long. Tatum, obviously, you contained him in the second half. It didn't matter. I thought, Jimmy played terrible. Those free throws at the end, I mean, he's lucky that they got the Horford switch, and Al Horford was the guy they wanted. But I don't know, man. He hit that 3 that was crazy. I want to talk about Duncan later because I cannot absolve him of missing 2. That is Duncan Robinson, everybody. If you're out there, and I know I want to let Harry get. This is my last thing, I swear. If you're out there still talking about Duncan, you saw it tonight. You saw the trick again tonight. So I don't know, man. There's gonna have to be changes, but I know that'll come after Game 7. But there's no way you can feel all right, we'll see what happens in 7 and stuff like that. Just brutal. Just brutal.
Well, yeah, honestly. Go ahead, Harry.
No, I was gonna say, let me let Ricky go, and then I'll give you my takes because I kind of scrolled through Twitter to get a feel of. I mean, I know people are feeling bad, but I kind of like to see interesting stuff happens in games where you lose by one possession, and you start looking for like every little thing to blame. And I think we kind of meant there's like, you can blame, you don't need to look around for, we'll talk about it. But Ricky, I want to hear kind of your thoughts on the game and maybe the season in general now.
I mean, this was a mid-team during the regular season. They got an injection of cocaine for about 3 weeks. They took advantage of injuries to other teams and a matchup advantage over the Knicks. They took a 3-0 lead over the Celtics when everything seemed to go their way and they were able to capitalize. Then some guys got hurt and the Celtics remembered that they're actually the better team. I remember getting crucified for making a take like that before the series started, but whatever. I don't give a crap what Heat Twitter thinks. Most of y'all are idiots anyways. And tonight, on the biggest night of the season, arguably the biggest night of their career, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo didn't do jack. They were carried by their role players. At this point, I mean, can we be completely honest? I know this is a Miami-oriented network and everything like that, and we cover the Heat as well as some other sports teams and everything, but this is unacceptable by any metric. Back in the day, I'm old enough to remember when Pat Riley would blow up teams after playoff losses, not continued playoff losses. Just someone was not coming back the following season. And it was usually a player that was like known, not just some random scrub they could replace in the offseason. Look, I mean, okay, great. Jimmy hit a couple field goals late. Duncan Robinson's been a disappointment since the contract. None of that surprises me. Oh, big whoop. He hit a couple threes late that made things interesting. But by no means was I watching this game expecting the Miami Heat to win this game. I mentioned this during the post game just the other night. You're not going to magically see Jimmy give you a big time performance after 2 straight games of his legs being cooked this late in the season. Bam was all right the first 3 games, and then he reverted. He's not going to magically grow a pair. And he didn't. He stood there and granted, he stood there and watched 6'4". Derek Wright's about 1.5 inches taller than me. Fly in for a rebound while Max Strus is just standing there. Oh, wow, I'm going to play in the NBA. No, you're not. You're never going to play in the NBA Finals. This team has reached its peak. The ceiling was last year. This was supposed to be when the team bottomed out, and yet by some miracle, they made it this far. But the beautiful thing about 7-game series is that 7-game series is usually when you find out who the better team is, no matter what, all things equal. Miami lost Gabe Vincent for a game, and they forgot how to offense. I don't know how that explains Jimmy Butler. What was he, like 4 or 6 for 13 or something like? I don't know. He was really bad before that late flurry. But remember, we saw that last year in Game 7. That was supposed to be a Celtics blowout, and then that last flurry, and then you remember what happened. Like I said before, the role players dragged this team. Made things interesting somehow. Jimmy didn't deliver. Bam didn't deliver. I know it's easy to be like, nah, man, Jimmy made it close and all that other stuff. But here's the thing. Riley has said his whole career, no rebounds, no rings. And not only that, but I don't care if you score 75 points in a first-round game. If you don't deliver when you're needed, none of it matters. I'm not interested in legacy. LeBron, when he dropped 45 on the Celtics, if they didn't win Game 7, means nothing.
Ricky, I got to pause you here for 1 second. Dominique, we don't care. If you don't like the stream, leave.
Go somewhere else.
Ricky is a member of this network. He gives great insight. If you don't like it, just fucking leave, honestly. You can go to watch other post games. There's other post games. We appreciate them as well.
And I appreciate you for that. Because here's the thing. I'm gonna say that to those of y'all watching right now. I am not here to make you feel good about yourself. If you want homers, I know a place you can go. But I'm not here to make you feel good about yourself. I'm not here to give you morphine. I'm here to educate you, because based on what you talk about on Twitter and in these comments, you know next to nothing about this sport. Just the other night, I was pretending to be a hope trafficking homer, and I saw how happy y'all were getting, like giddy 7-year-olds. I switched up and became realistic, and all of a sudden you didn't want to see my face anymore. I don't care. You guys are faceless losers. You mean nothing to me. I'm on this side of the screen, and you're in the comments where you belong. There's a reason the network won't answer your DMs, and many of you have DM'd. Don't ask me how I know that. So I'll finish my point essentially by saying this. Look, if you inflate your expectations about this team, you're bound to get disappointed. This team was never meant to get this far. Never. This was a play-in team that was a lottery team, except for about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter against the Bulls. And then somehow they made it back. This is not the team you think it is. What did you think was going to happen if they got to the finals? You really thought they were going to upset Nikola Jovic and the Denver Nuggets? You really thought Bam was going to bring it against him? He can't even do it against a geriatric Al Horford and a one-legged, one-armed Robert Williams II. Who is Bam playing against that he can't perform like this? Who? Prime Alonzo Mourning? Prime Tim Duncan? Prime Kevin Garnett? Hakeem Olajuwon? Nate Thurman? Who? This team with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo will not win a championship with them as their best players. How do I know that? Look at what the role players did tonight. Great legendary players show up in games like this. Matter of fact, they finish off the series in 4 or 5 games. They didn't do that tonight. It's time to be realistic about your team. Not every Heat team is going to go to the finals and contend for a championship. You really show your age when you assume that that's the way the season is supposed to end. Y'all ain't the Lakers. It's obvious y'all showed up around the time Bron showed up here because y'all got spoiled. There are about, let's see if my math is correct. There are about 27 other teams. Ooh, my Knicks included. Yeah, y'all stupid. Y'all go ahead and say that. There are 27 other teams currently watching NBA basketball right now, and their home team isn't one of them. Get used to that reality until some better players show up here. Because right now, Kyle Lowry is making what? $28 million? Something like that? Duncan Robinson's making 19 mil. Bam Adebayo is on a max contract, and Jimmy's on a max contract. And this is as far as you get. Get used to it. Me saying they suck isn't why they suck. What you saw tonight is why they suck. So I'll turn it over. I didn't mean to go as long as I did, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to run through some donos real quick here. Shout out to HM for the $5. Done with Jimmy Butler and his guarantees. Time to break this core up after they get run off the court in Game 7. Start by moving him. Third no-show in a row. Yeah, I mean, you can't say after every single game that you're going to win and then lose 3 straight. I don't want to hear him in the post-game conference tonight say that they're going to win Game 7. Just go do it. Stop talking about it. Shout out to Darius Jordan, $2. Why was Strus in, man? Like, dang. I don't know. Better than Duncan on defense, I think is the general consensus, but not there. Shout out to Alex Campbell for the $4.99. Bam boxing out the free throw line. Pack him. I'm not going to give that last one to Bam, honestly. That's Strus's guy. You got to stay with your mark. Bam stayed with his guy, locked him up at the free throw line on a decent box out. There was no boxing out for the whole night, but we'll get into that a little later. Lucky Luciano here for the $2. How much longer will we make excuses for Bam? I don't know. We'll see. Eddie Massifer, I believe. Maserati, you want to read this one?
Can Spo poke the bear? Does that only work if Grant does it? Yeah, I'm questioning Spo after this one too, a little bit.
Shout out to David Sasson for the $2. Can the refs please call the Brown and Tatum hook? Yeah, I mean, I didn't think the refs were great tonight either. I'm pretty sure everyone up here will agree with that. But at the end of the day, you can't play like shit and also blame the refs. If you play like shit and you blame the refs for a close loss, you should have just played good. James Todd, another $10 dono. Duncan had 2 wide open threes in the fourth and clanked them both. We're getting blown out on Monday. I fully expect this team to get blown up as well. I'm in disbelief that this happened. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that Duncan didn't make those. I am appreciative that he got us back into the game, but you got to make those shots.
I'm not blaming Duncan. Yeah, I'm not blaming Duncan for the loss at all. He's not even top 4 or 5 people that deserve to be blamed for this loss at all. I'm just saying, if you get paid that much to shoot, you were left wide open twice, and one of them.
Yeah, I'm with you,
bro. You can't miss it. To me.
Oh, keep going.
And then last one here, Shabazz, for a $10 dono. I'm seeing the additional time was added to the shot clock after the foul on Jimmy. Why was that added? Usually they do that every time they run a replay on one of those late game things. They always, they'll check the correct call and then they'll add the additional time if there needs to be additional time added. But yeah, I guess I'll throw it over to Harry. You want to jump in here?
Yeah. So, a lot of Twitter right now is essentially, why was the 0.9 seconds added on the clock? The refs weren't good. The technical on Bam. Listen, the NBA does have a refereeing problem. That's something they have to work on. It's not the reason the Heat lost. They're up by 1 with a chance to close it. You have to win. You have to close the games. A lot of this stuff is winning in spite of the refs. And I just think, I thought Ricky did a good job talking about it. Bam's 4 of 16. He's you'd have to go back to find a shooting game that bad from Bam. Jimmy was 5 of 21, and it was 3 of 19 before he made those 2 at the end. 3 of 19. If Jimmy shoots 6 of 19, we win. You know what I mean? And that's not a good game for Jimmy. And I just think the role players kept you in that game. Caleb Martin was the only reason that game was close in the first half. Gabe, I thought was a bit wild going to the basket, but some of his shots were big. And Duncan,
Gabe's presence was big.
Yeah, and because Kyle was horrible. So
and Jimmy wouldn't go up. I couldn't tell you how many times, not to cut you off, Jimmy would go to the rim, pass out to Gabe, who then would actually attack the rim.
There was a play where Jimmy got into the paint and then he so I think it was right before the end of the third quarter where Bam kind of missed. It would have been an easy if he had looked up, there was someone cutting real easy for 2. He missed that. Jimmy comes up, gets into the paint. He's there. He doesn't want to take it. He hands it back to Lowry. He messes it up, gets it out to someone else. They miss a shot. It's the problem when you lose by 1 or you lose by 1 possession is you had a lot of chances to not lose, and you did. Jimmy hit the big free throws at the end of the game, but he missed 2 big ones before that. Bam missed a free throw. Strus, for some reason, was shooting a technical free throw that he missed. Just some odd decisions. I'm not sure if he'll play in Boston, but Highsmith not getting any run after the game he played in Boston was weird to me. I also think that the Zeller minutes were -7 and you lost by 1 point. So, there are going to be what happened, Ricky?
I just realized something. You said Zeller minutes. This would have actually been a perfect opportunity to put Zeller down there. Because White's not scoring that over Zeller, as goofy and as useless as he is.
I think there was Yeah.
No,
to that point, Ricky, I think I kind of agree with you. I would have actually rather had Zeller on the ball, arms up, facing Derek White, just standing there.
Or on the inbound, or
just on the inbound. Just on the inbound, big tall guy, arms up, stick your arms up, wave your arms, do that, and then follow your guy around.
That's the same mistake that Pop made that led to that Ray Allen 3 in 2013. Because Duncan wasn't even out there for that. And they got that rebound. Huh. Wow. I guess I
think we should probably pivot to the obvious thing here. And I'll throw it over to Maserati. Just give me your thoughts on just one of Bam or Jimmy, because they were the clear 2 issues this game, and just go off on them.
I'll group them together to start, and then I'm going to focus more on Jimmy than Bam, because I know a lot of people are going to get to Bam. But that, to me, I am trying to remember the last time the top 2 players on the Miami Heat at the same time choked that bad on their home floor. The 2 best players, right? I know we had Bron in 2011, but Wade was stepping up. I'm talking about both of these dudes were complete no-shows, and I'm trying to think of maybe that Milwaukee series a few years when we got swept, but in a bigger spot like this, on their home floor against the rival that they keep talking about, that Bam keeps talking about, that Jimmy keeps talking about, complete and utter no-show from a mentality standpoint too. And this is where I want to shift to Jimmy, because Jimmy Butler was so freaking indecisive tonight. The mentality had to be off the rip 50 until they triple team me, and then I get the other guys involved. I don't know the amount of times Jimmy Butler went to the rim to just kick it out to a shooter who then wouldn't even shoot it it would mostly be Vincent, who then would try his best. And again, Vincent played well. Caleb Martin played like a freaking star player tonight. Caleb Martin has had better playoff moments than Tyler Herro, not to bring him up, but I'm going to just be real now. Just be real now. Caleb Martin was invaluable tonight on both ends of the floor, going for every hustle play. And I'm not saying Bam or Jimmy were not trying, but Jimmy in particular, man, he talked it. I mean, and he always backs it up, so he never gets called on it. But he guaranteed a win today, and he was 3 in a row, really. Yeah, and he has been averaging 20 points, right, around then. Today he made 4 baskets, really. I thought he literally was trying to draw fouls. And if I'm going to give smoke to Harden, and I'm going to give smoke to Luka, I'm going to give smoke to all these other dudes who are really just trying to get to the line, Jimmy Butler was just trying to get to the line.
But Alex, that's what I don't understand about the game, because so they're down by 10. Jimmy's like, let's get back into this. He drives. Like, you should have been doing that the whole game. Like, they respect him. They give him calls.
Right under the hoop. And I'm like, go up. I think he'll get fouled. And he would just toss that shit out. Max Strus, bro, where do you find the audacity to dribble as much as you did today?
Bubba, they were in the penalty 4 minutes into the third quarter and didn't take advantage.
Yeah. One point to that, Ricky, because I'm gonna get Ricky's thoughts here on. I'm assuming he's gonna go on Bam here, but to that point, at 9:12 in the third quarter, they were in the penalty. They took 6 free throws the rest of the quarter. 6. That is embarrassing. Not only, I think all of us here will give Erik Spoelstra pretty much close to innumerable amount of passes. As a coach, you have to hammer into your players' brains, drive to the rim. They are in the penalty at 9 minutes, drive to the rim. Every single possession should be a drive to the rim until they overcommit, and then you can kick it out for a 3. We are ISOing for 3 balls at the top of the 3-point line, and they're in the penalty. I don't understand what was going through their minds at this point in the game, but I'm going to move it. I'm going to shift it back to the Jimmy and Bam conversation. Ricky, I'm sure you're going to go in here on Bam. I'll let you get your shit off on Bam.
Because here's the thing. Look, Bam is low-hanging fruit. If you don't mind, I'll get to him a little bit. Because here's the thing. As you were talking just now, I'm reminded, if the Miami Heat of today, the way they played once they got into the penalty, if they played that way against the Dallas Mavericks in 2006, Dirk has 1 or 2 championships. They win that series in 4. The reason why Miami got back into that series and why Dwayne Wade was able to catapult into stardom was because he lowered his head and he attacked the basket like it said something about his mother. There's a reason he set records for free throws in that series. It's because he kept attacking the basket. Did he attack it with reckless abandon? Maybe not, because he's actually skilled. But he kept attacking the basket. And what are the refs going to do? Well, yeah, they gave him the calls. That's how you do it. That's what happens. The more you attack the basket, the more your bigs potentially get into their bigs potentially get into foul trouble. The more the wings that are guarding you potentially get into foul trouble. Now imagine this, right? Let's say Derek White, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown have between 4 and 5 fouls heading into the final stretch of that fourth quarter. And then Jimmy Butler decides, you know what? For whatever reason, it's still tight. I'm going to go again. I wonder how the game shifts. I wonder if maybe Miami, we're all doing we're all celebrating right now with some of the main members, not main, but like some of the other members occasionally rotating in and out because this is an Eastern Conference Championship postgame. All right, that's aside, right? I don't know what more I can say about Bam Adebayo that I haven't been saying across multiple networks and podcasts. We needed him and he wasn't there. Now you'll probably go on Twitter. You'll see a couple D writers of Bam's look at his stats and say, look at his effort on defense. Look at all the things he's done. And he's still No, stop. Kyle Lowry ain't top 2 on this team. It's Jimmy and it's Bam. When Bam is aggressive, we get the first 3.5 games of this series. When he's not, we get the last 3 that just ended. He wasn't aggressive. He had not only that, but he looked clueless out there. Just let me walk you through a scenario, right? Ball moves a little bit. Jimmy, I don't know, does some weird jump pass crap that he does that is just ridiculous. And then Bam gets the ball on the elbow. And you're like, okay, here we go. What's he going to do tonight? What's he going to do? All right. 8 seconds pass. The Celtics defense settles because it's like, okay, he's not shooting this. And he's probably going to look for somebody. So let's clue in on everybody else. And then Jimmy takes some weird, awkward spin thing, whatchamacallit. I don't even know what word in English to use to explain what he does. And it ends up going back the other way. Ew. But that wasn't even the most gross thing that I saw from him tonight. What I saw from him was him arguably orchestrate what felt like an 8-point swing. I think it was Duncan Robinson that hit a 3 that got us to within 1. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
83-82. They go down, and the 2, and then the tech, and then the
4 points.
Yeah,
I think that's
so
very good.
All of that happens. His hand grabs the rim. A professional athlete who's been playing basketball for at least 10 years now is getting paid millions of dollars. And he's supposedly known for his defensive skills. Grabs the rim in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals when the refs are already on their BS. What do you think is going to happen? And to compound that, a guy who we've gotten after for not being aggressive enough decides to be aggressive towards the ref. That's another technical foul. So you give them another shooting rep. I don't know who it was that shot that. It might have been Tatum or somebody, but
I think it was Brown.
It was Brown? That's even worse, arguably, but that's another conversation. So a 1-point lead or a 1-point lead suddenly becomes 5, 6, 7, 10 points. So it's bad enough you're not giving us much on offense. You want to gift wrap 7 points to the Celtics? Like I said before, I mean, y'all might, maybe not y'all, but y'all might not want to hear this, but the reality is Alonzo Mourning ain't walking through that door. Past his prime, Shaq ain't walking through that door. LeBron James ain't walking through that door. Ronnie Cycli isn't walking through that door. John Sally for a season ain't walking through that door. You're stuck with Bam. I remember just the other day how people were like, man, Bam's playing so well. I would never trade him for Joel, MVP, Embiid because of what he did against the Celtics. Like, okay. Y'all win 3. This reminds me of 2 seasons back where Miami pretty much sucks, and then they go on a 3-game winning streak, and then cocky Heat fan comes out, and all of a sudden your players are untouchable, and then all of a sudden they suck again. It's like, trade everybody, as if the rest of the league isn't watching this.
We do as a fan base ping pong quite frequently, but not to cut you off, Ricky. I want to get into some donos here if we can. Just want to shout out Twist for the $4.99. Jimmy doing them all dumb ass pump fakes, getting me tight, man. Like, bro, if they're not going for it, rise up and shoot over them. Yeah, I mean, it looked like to me the Celtics were just staying down on all the Jimmy pump fakes, and then he looked lost when they didn't bite on it. Shout out to somebody here for the $2 dono. Highsmith should have been in the final play, not Strus.
By the way,
Harry agrees with that.
Spo is out here. Actually, we'll finish the donos, but I want to say what Spo is saying in the press conference.
Okay. We'll go donos, the Spo thing, and then I want to go to Harry for his thoughts on Bam and Jimmy. If Jimmy's playing hurt, what's Bam's excuse? Jimmy was not good tonight either. So I think neither of them has an excuse right now. How can Royal not show up after this? Come on, man. Unconfirmed reports say that Royal may or may not be on his way to the tarmac to have some words with the Miami Heat in person. Shout out to Twist for another $4.99 dono. Jaylen Brown had 4 fouls in the third quarter. Nobody attacked him. Yeah, I mean, that's what we were saying, right? They took Jaylen Brown out when he went into the penalty at the 9-minute mark. They actually put him back in, I think, with 4 minutes left and just didn't bother attacking. Pretty poor decision making. Flintstone with the $1.99. Letting Strus take the tech free throw is crazy. Yeah, should have been Jimmy, honestly. Jimmy not taking that is surprising in that moment, honestly.
It should have been, man, it should have been Gabe. I don't care.
Or Gabe.
I do not care who your best player is. You put your best free throw shooter on the line when they're out there. So I've been always confused in the regular season. Like we can have, we don't have to mention him a lot, but like Tyler's a 90% free throw shooter. When he's on the court, he should be taking the free throw. I don't care that Jimmy's like 87, 8. Like it's just math at that point. It's math.
Yep.
And
but
I don't know what the thought was there. I don't know if they didn't think Strus was shooting enough, so they wanted to get him involved. But it was an odd play. They were even the TNT guys were like, okay, Vincent will probably take this one because he missed one free throw the whole series, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, listen, you could again, we lost by 1 point. You can question anything you want. You can literally question any play that happened. You could question Bam hanging on the rim. You could question the free throw. You could question the play call at the end. The only thing I want to say is that people are saying, man, how is Strus supposed to get back? I don't know, man. I have TNT on the background on mute. Tatum takes a shot and Strus kind of slowly trails behind White. Like he could get in front of him. I know it's not the easiest play for him and he's not the fastest guy, but there are ways to deter an absolutely free run to the basket from the inbounder. And
he's fast when he wants the ball.
I just think it's odd that, like, you don't listen. One box out is like, it's hard. It's not the reason we lost. Like the game is lost in everything else that happens. They didn't dictate tempo, which we talked about they had to do. Bam was really bad. A lot of shots were short. I don't know if these guys are getting tired, playing every other day, but that's why you don't let it go 6. And I just think all this stuff is kind of adding up, right? People are saying, I don't know why Jimmy gets the injury excuse when you see that he can turn it on at the end of the game. So it's like, yeah, fine, he's hurting. Where was he for? Why was
Jimmy gave them 37 in game 1 and looked completely unstoppable. So
no, but my thing is like, so why is it just?
I'm agreeing with you.
No. I know. I'm just saying like. It's for me. Listen, I think the excuses suck. I think they suck. I don't really want to hear about the refs. I don't care. Like, listen, let's say like, I don't know, like that. I thought the end of the Knicks game 6 was annoying because like the Knicks couldn't score and they were in the bonus for the whole fourth quarter and they kept getting free throws and that's why the game was close. So like that was frustrating. But again, if the Heat would have lost, it wouldn't have been on the refs. You have to take care of business. You have to make baskets. You need to run fast breaks properly. You cannot have the scoring runs they've been letting the Celtics go on in some of these periods are crazy. Like they'll take the lead, and then the next thing you know, the Celtics go on like a 7-0 run, or at the end, there was like a point they had like it was 12, and they cut it back down, then they let them get up again. It was like this is a good team. I know they're not gonna. I know. Listen. Rightfully so, you blow a 3-0 lead, the talk is going to be choke. And it is a choke. It's a choke. The same way when you look at when the Warriors blew it 3-1, it's a choke. You have to choke in order to blow that kind of series. But you have to look at the other side and you have to give credit where it's due. Tatum, regardless of, he gets calls, but he's playing like a star. Jaylen Brown showed up tonight. He hasn't been good in the series. He's really good. Derek White's been killing us. That guy has been killing us. He's automatic. Marcus Smart has been excellent for the last 3 games. Excellent player. I know we hate him and he's annoying. He's been playing incredible. And that's it. That's because they're only playing 6 guys. And like 4 of them are kicking our ass. Obviously Grant Williams didn't have a great game. They didn't have Brogdon tonight because his arm's falling off. And, but it's the same thing, guys. You give up offensive rebounds. And for second chance, I feel like every time they got a second chance, they hit a 3 or they hit a bucket. And it's just like devastating because you just got to get the ball. And I think that's where we can talk about it whenever the season eventually ends. Like that's where this stuff is annoying because they've never given Bam a decent backup, so he can't sit because they don't have anyone who can come in. You feel comfortable doing that. They don't have any real size. Their only guy who's tall is Cody, and we don't want him out there because he's -7 in 2 minutes. And you're asking a lot of these guys. Caleb Martin had 15 rebounds tonight, man. 15 rebounds. I mean, he's a hustler. He's amazing. But I think my only this is how I kind of deal with this stuff. I know people are like rightfully upset online and everything. And I think Ricky mentioned earlier, I know people don't like Ricky talking because, it kind of comes from maybe not the most Homer opinion, but guys, this Heat team with Jimmy playing like this wasn't going to do anything next round. I know you want the chance. I know they wanted it last year against the Warriors. The whole team was hurt last year. The whole team was hurt. Jimmy showed up for 6 and 7 last year, but everybody had some kind of lower leg injury. It wouldn't have happened. That Warrior team absolutely dissected the Celtics. And I kind of think the Nuggets have it this year. I mean, they could have studied every team in the NBA over these 9 days if they wanted to. And
yeah, if you guys think Ricky is not going to give you the Homer takes, wait till you hear about Alex Maserati up here. What he's going to tell you next on as it pertains to. Well, first, I actually want to go back to what you were saying about Spo before we get to the next segue in the game. So if you want to throw that in.
Spo is guaranteeing a win. He's I don't know how we're going to get it done, but in the 48 hours, we will be up here and we will be getting it done. Bro, we can't keep doing this. It's getting embarrassing. At a certain point, bro, this is not what the organization does, though. We're not the talkers, bro. We're supposed to be the team that just fucking gets it done. And all we have done since gone up 3-0, myself included, is talk. And this is horrible, bro. This is I don't think some people understand. A lot of people don't understand. This is the biggest collapse in the history of this sport if they lose this, bro. Worse than 3-1. 3-1 for the Warriors, 3-1 for the Thunder before the Warriors collapsed. None of that, bro. This is worse. And all I know is that someone will have to be held accountable. I do not want to hear they were the 8th seed, they got here. Yes, they were the 8th seed this year. They're the 1 seed last year. They were the ever seed the year before that, and the year whatever the seed before that. It's the same team. This is it, man. This is it. And I don't see a path where it works out for them on Monday unless Jimmy goes out there and gets 50. Now, I'm not ruling it out because, bro, this man could do it. He could go out there. He could drop 53. It could be super efficient, and it could go down as one of the greatest performances in Heat history to avoid the biggest collapse in basketball history. And if that happens, bro, I will be so over the moon happy, and I will tell you how good Jimmy Butler is. But, bro, this is not looking good. We were clowning Joe Mazzulla. I was clowning him. He has limited Jimmy Butler the last 3 games. Last 3 games, Jimmy Butler is not doing what he has done to every single team the entire playoffs. Bam. I want to give Bam credit. I want to be one of those dudes that can't get mad at Bam because of the defense. But, bro, we can't get after Al Horford. I say you're better than Robert Williams. You have to prove that. You can't take Al Horford one-on-one. And we talk about this. Duncan checks in the game, and he immediately looks for him. And before, I used to just get pissed at Duncan. I'm pissed at Bam. He's looking for a way out. He's looking for someone else to step up. And Jimmy was doing it so much tonight too. We have to have some serious conversations at the end of this. And again, bro, I will bring him up. Nobody wants to say it, bro, but he's warming up before this shit. We need him. I'll say it, bro. We need Herro to at least play. You cannot have this man miss so much time. You just can't. This. People want to talk this is we were deferring to the amount of times deferring to Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, and I don't want to blame any of those dudes because they did everything they could. Gabe on a bad ankle shot 50% from the floor and was more decisive than anybody else on the team. How is that possible? And that is some credit to Spo, but at a certain point, I want Spo to be you got to do it, Jimmy. Challenge him. We've seen Spo challenge Jimmy before. They've gotten into arguments. They need to challenge Bam. And I know Spo wants to say nothing about how great Bam is and how he does everything for this team. And nobody has more on his plate than Bam does. And I appreciate all those things. But you have now, in Game 7, 1 game before this core will be now known as what? The Jimmy Butler Miami Heat era, up to this point, if they blow this on Sunday, the biggest thing that will happen from that is no longer playoff Jimmy. It's no longer the Milwaukee game. It's no longer the bubble guppies or whatever the fuck even that meme. It's not even that anymore. It will be that is the team, the only team in NBA history to blow a 3-0 lead. So that's going to be on Spo's resume. That will be on Jimmy Butler's resume. That will be on Bam Adebayo's. That will be on Pat Riley's. That will be on everybody's resume. And again, it's never happened, but it's also never been on the home floor, all this stuff. Tatum's going to show up. I think Boston's like 25-4 in game sevens. Man, you had it tonight. Jaylen Brown got into foul trouble. Tatum was a no-show in the second half, and you could not stop Marcus Smart. You could not box out Derek White, and Jimmy and Bam smoked. I don't even know how many layups. I don't even know how many pump fakes him and Bam had. And there's pump fakes like D-Wade would have a pump fake, bro. And then there's pump fakes that I'm scared as shit. That's the pump fakes that were happening tonight, bro. Pump fake of please foul me. The amount of times Jimmy just put his shoulder into Robert Williams' chest and threw it up like this. Bro, what are we doing? Get to your spot. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
what they'll be known for if they blow it. They will be known as
if you guys
in the history of the game. So
if you guys thought the 3-1 Warriors stuff was bad, if you thought the bubble, the Mickey Mouse ring was bad, it's going to be more abrasive being the team that got reverse swept. I'm going to get some more donos here. Another $2 from Lucky Luciano. Jimmy's age is finally catching up to him, unfortunately. Maybe, but it's not an excuse. He's been pretty damn near phenomenal to this point in the playoffs. You got to go give it for the next 2 weeks. Caleb's going to cash out in free agency, $20 to $25 million a year. I think he's still under contract for next year, but I don't think he'll get that much. David Sasson, $2
for a whole season though. Like
if he played like that for a whole season, he could probably get that for sure. David Sasson, another $2. Tyler, if you're a man, play on Monday. Hey, Maserati is echoing that sentiment. He's warming up. He should be hopefully soon. There was rumors on Twitter that he was ahead of schedule. That doesn't look to be the case. HM, another $2 dono. Spo needs to call out our stars publicly. It's getting to that point, honestly. I'm tired of we're going to win the next one. I guarantee it, this, that. We went out and fought. I think you need to demand more from your best after not just the performance tonight from a statistical standpoint, but the level of effort I thought was just piss poor for the majority of the game. Somebody, another $2 dono. No Lowry, no Zeller in game 7. Well, you're probably going to get both of them, unfortunately. You'll be lucky and be thankful you only got Zeller for 2 minutes this game, and he was still a -7, but you will probably end up getting Lowry. Shout out to Dan, the Film Gent, another $5 here. Yeah, we like Ricky. Ricky's one of the greats, just how James Pugh is one of them. Oh, man, I'm not ready for the lob here. Hang on. James Pugh is one of them with the ones with the insurance, and that is going to be a shout out to our primary sponsor of the basement, James Pugh over at Simple Health Advisors. Sorry, I do not have the fancy graphic because Justin's not here. Insurance doesn't need to be complicated. You can give them a call or an email today and tell them that the basement sent you. You can email our guy, James Pugh at jpugh@simplehealthadvisors.com. Or you can call, hang on, let me get the number here. I just got to minimize this. At 321-345-7738. We appreciate you, Dan, for the lob, and we appreciate James as well for being the primary sponsor of the basement. And we got a couple more donos here. Sorry, guys, they're just rolling in. Alex Campbell with the $4.99. I still want my 14th pick for all those guys who did victory laps because we rightfully called this team out. They got to play Game 7 first. We'll see. And then SSJ Lanky with the $1.99. This was, in fact, a Tyler Herro type of game. Yes, this is a game where you probably want Tyler Herro if your best 2 players are combining for 9 of 40 or whatever it was. Harry, look like you want to jump in there. You want to get something off your mind? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I think I was just going to say, we're just not going to give this Celtics team enough credit. I just saw they're 5-0 in elimination games this season. They did a pretty good job of surviving last year. Both, winning Game 7 against the Heat. They won 2 games trailing the Bucks. This is a tough team. Tatum's a tough guy to beat, especially the refs are giving him a lot of calls, which sucks, but that they're kind of doing that. And, it's just kind of, it's going to be tough this is going to be the Heat's first elimination game because we didn't think they'd be there, after they were up 3-0. And we're going to see what kind of happens because now we're kind of expecting Scott Foster to show up for 7. and the Celtics are yeah.
I mean to interrupt, Harry, but you know what? Jimmy didn't show up. Bam didn't show up. Maybe I should leave early too. I gotta go. But
Okay, man. Have a
gentlemen,
good night.
We appreciate you, Ricky. We're down to a duo here. We'll get it wrapped up soon, though. But take it easy,
rule
Ricky.
that Miami never had. Why not?
Yeah,
All right,
we're gonna give you our best, even though we're tired, we're sick, we're hungry. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I listen. I put a lot of tweets out earlier. A lot of my stuff is trying to go for a reverse jinx angle, but it's just this is gonna be very tough to. Listen, if we would have gotten swept, we would have just said, hey, they have our number, they're the better team, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
No big deal.
This is way worse. This is way worse than that.
This is the absolute worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Especially the way this game just ended, right? Like if you would have if we would have gotten blown out or, maybe it wasn't as close, or if we just stayed down 10, but to come all the way back, have the lead, and then lose it with 0.1 seconds left. People are saying this is worse than the Allen Houston shot. I don't know. Again, I try to keep my expectations down. That was tough because we were favored big time against the Knicks, and we, ended up blowing that. But I just think this is – they figured something out against us. They're doing a good job of kind of making Bam's life hell, and for some reason – Jimmy just looks disinterested for 3/4 of the game. I think that's what's really frustrating to me. I don't think I need he's not going to be efficient against this team. They do a good job whether they put Tatum or Brown on him or whether they have Rob Will or Horford back there to kind of make his life tough once he gets to the rim. But I think if he comes at it with the aggression that he played at the end of the game, I don't think the game is that close. They gave us a lot of opportunities to win. They couldn't shoot tonight, right? We said – instead of Celtics shoot above 40% from three, they're basically unbeatable. They lost 2 games in the regular season, and it's basically been the same pattern in the postseason. I think tonight they were 7 of 35 from three. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yep.
So.
Oh, and one more point. I'll do this one point, and then we'll go last dono here, and we'll get into adjustments for Game 7. We out offensive rebounded them 17-12 tonight. Shocking. Because that doesn't seem real. We only
had 5 turnovers.
We had 5 turnovers. They beat us on second chance points 16-12, despite us having 5 more offensive rebounds. So we actually had 17 offensive rebounds, 12 second chance points. So that just tells you how absolutely piss poor they were at finishing the ball around the rim.
6 missed free throws at home isn't very good either.
Yep. And they shot 83% from the free throw line for the entire season, 79% tonight. So, like Harry's been saying the whole stream, you can point to any number of individual singular plays in a 1-point loss that you want to blame. The Duncan 2 missed threes, the Bam technical, yada, 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 whatever. Doesn't matter. End of the day, you can't shoot 35% from the field and have your 2 best players shoot 9 of 40 and win. I'm going to go to these last 2 donos here. And then, Harry, I want to get your thoughts on some Game 7 adjustments, and then we'll close up here. We got Alex G for actually 2 donos here. First one is $5. I don't want to hear how the Heat is one of the best conditioned teams in the league if Bam and Jimmy don't play the whole game. They did play almost most of the game, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy played 46 minutes, Bam played 45 minutes. So they sat 2 and 3 minutes respectively. And Gabe played 41 minutes on a bum ankle. I can't really blame them not playing the game. The level of effort certainly wasn't there for a good portion of those minutes. But that's a different discussion. And then last one here from Alex G, $5. Everyone on here needs to pressure on social media to get Spo to play Tyler. That is not a decision for Spo to make. I believe that is a doctor decision to make. And if the doctors clear him, then he will probably play. I'm going to go to the person behind the screen here and get his Game 7 adjustments, and then we'll go to Harry, and then we'll wrap the stream up. And it's George. Hey, George.
It's been...
You met us here at the end. You want to give like a quick...
I wasn't going to come on. I was going to come on.
Sad session here.
I wasn't going to come on. I watched the last possession, and I just stood there in silence for 5 minutes, maybe 6. It was just the most fucking gut-wrenching bullshit I'd ever seen. And it's not the ref's fault. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I don't care that there was 3 seconds and they put it. It was 2.1 seconds. They put it down to 3, up to 3. I couldn't give a fuck. When you have the most pathetic performance from your star duo I've ever seen, at the same time, to do that is the fact that we were within 2 with that much time left is a fucking miracle in itself. It's a miracle.
The fact that they were winning the game after 47 minutes and 59 seconds had passed is a miracle.
And you probably already talked about it before. I didn't watch the show in any way. I just thought, fuck it, I'll jump on for a bit if it's still on. The lack of rebounding, the lack of effort, the not being able to call a timeout the entire of the third quarter until there was like 2 minutes left, I think it was. You haven't put the ball in the basket for 6 minutes, like properly, besides free throws. Can you fucking help? Can you just... There's no plays called. There were no sets run. There was no defensive integrity. There was no passion. There was nothing. There was 15 substitutions bringing Kyle Lowry off, on. And your best performer was Duncan fucking Robinson and Caleb Martin. Duncan took that 3 with 11 seconds left. He was completely open, but twice.
Good shot.
Both were good shots. Just didn't make them. I'm not even mad at that. The fact that Jimmy drives to the lane and does this bullshit kick out every 5 fucking seconds. Then not just that, you've got Bam's dumbass grabbing onto the rim to block a shot. I don't give a fuck how marginal it is. I don't care that made no impact on the game whatsoever. You don't touch the fucking rim. It is basketball 101. You don't touch the rim. They know this. You give away 4 points where it should have been 2 shots, our possession. You gave away 4 points. Stupid, borderline, asinine fucking bullshit like that is what lost us this game. And I'm not going to cap. I don't know how you fucking bounce back from this. I don't know how you bounce back from this. I don't know how you walk into their garden in 2 days' time and say to yourself, I'm winning this game. I don't know how you do that. They've got all the confidence. Well, we've been beat by this ugly fucking rat named Derek White over and over. And you know what? Praise to the Celtics. Honest to God, praise to the Celtics. They stood. They didn't give up on the play. They got forced into a bad shot, and then they went straight up for it. Really well played by them. Killed it. And you can't even take anything away from them as well. They're just a great team. But the fact of the matter is we're up 3-0. Now we're 3-3. It's fucking pathetic. It's pathetic. And the blame's on Jimmy's shoulders. You set the bar so high, and then you put on, what I think at one point he was, 3 for 17?
3 of 19.
3 of 19.
Point. Yep.
How are you going to be on $50 million and put a 3 of 19 performance up at your home ground? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't think any of us get it, but Harry, give me your adjustments that they can make to try to win Game 7, even if you don't think they will. What do you want to see other than the obvious of Jimmy and Bam not shooting sub 20%?
If Cody's, man, I have to decide if I'm going to put myself through this shit on Monday, just for my own sanity. Let's say I do. Absolutely no Cody Zeller. If I see him out there, I am teleporting to Boston, and I will do what needs to be done to make sure he cannot come into a game again. I will figure out how to do that in 2 days. I have a nice Memorial Day weekend to figure that out. He cannot play. We've never understood it. He's -7 in 2 minutes. Not again. Anything could have cost us the game. That seemed like a huge deal. The game was tied, and the next thing you know, the Celtics went on an 11-4 run before he sits down just to give Bam a breath. I have no idea if it's like just that these guys are exhausted because of the run that they're on and it's playing every other day, but need to find a way to get Bam some easy looks early. And so that becomes so he becomes confident. He kind of was talking about in the postgame that he thinks there's like a lid on the rim and he just needs to keep shooting. This is this is a confidence issue now, right? Because what's going to happen is he's going to start hesitating on looks that he should normally take and make. And after a game like this, he's going to start doubting himself. I mentioned it earlier because I think it's interesting when you watch him play. He made very early in the game, he made one of his longer jumpers of the season. It was probably about a 20-footer. It was right in front of the three-point line. Swoosh, no problem. Didn't think about it, went in, whatever. Every time that guy thinks, something bad happens. If he thinks about where he's going with the ball next, he turns it over. If he's thinking about like trying to get the ball up court, he fumbles the ball. He just needs to do. He needs to act. He needs to. I think that he would call it like acting with purpose, acting with intention, something like that. I suppose him, and just getting the stuff done. These guys are not good enough on the other side to be giving him this much trouble. He got blocked so badly by Al Horford. He got the rebound. It seemed like a putback. I don't know if he needs to learn the pump fake or needs to come at a different angle, but that can't happen. And that just seemed to kind of be his night. For Jimmy, Jimmy needs to drive with purpose and get to the rim and get to the basket with purpose. He should look at the last few minutes of the game, and that should be his game, right? Force them to not call the fouls because there's a lot of contact when Jimmy goes to the rim. And anytime we go to the hoop and we make adjustments, it doesn't work. So when like Jimmy goes up and tries to flip it up, doesn't work. Bam does the same thing. Gabe did that a lot tonight. I felt like he kept getting to the basket. Gabe is Chalmers, by the way. Like there's no other guy I've watched who I'm like, he hits some insane shots and you're like, thank God he's out there tonight. And then he's like, what is this guy doing? And you're probably the way we're playing, you need to keep letting Caleb get to the basket like that. So I think what you do is they'll bring out the same starting five that they had tonight. The backup minutes, so if you need to sit Bam for 2 minutes, it has to be Highsmith or Love, and it has to be quick. It cannot be Zeller. And the Heat are going to have to hit a lot of threes. And they're going to have to run the Celtics. The Celtics MO in these Game 7s, this version of the Celtics, so these guys who have been together for a few years, they've had, I don't know if you guys remember some of these games. They called a couple of them like the Boston 3 party. They tend to hit a lot of these shots at home in Game 7. You have to run them off the line. You have to hope that there's a lot of pressure on them now that they're probably favored to win the series by quite a bit. You know, people keep talking about Herro. Alex talked about Herro. I don't know what you should. I don't know if you'd expect that guy to come in a Game 7 and give you anything. You know, he tried to play last year in Game 7.
He's not.
I know. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying,
like,
like,
on that at all. You can't bank on a guy like Tyler Herro to come in and change. Today was not even an offensive problem. That in the way it was an effort and a focus problem. You know, we got good looks. The problems weren't there. It's a mentality thing, if anything. I don't see how Tyler bringing him on the floor as a defensive liability, as big as he is going to help us in any which way or the other.
I think it would have worked because they were already playing Duncan so much and Strus so much on the
I would actually right. as much as we were annoyed by Duncan's 2 misses, and the first one was crazy because I would think as a shooter you don't even think about it, right? Like he thought about it. So that was frustrating because I think that one was more off than the second one. The second one was just he missed.
It was so crazy because the ones that he had hit to get us back in the game, to his credit, were way tougher. Like shots that I were not expecting.
A 36-footer.
Alex, I'm telling you that if there's pressure on that guy,
that's what I'm saying.
He's going to throw up on himself when they're down, and you're like
crazy.
I guess he did hit the 3 to go up 1, right? That was a pretty big shot before everything went to crap on the other end, but. I think the way he plays and the way he opens the floor with everything else going on, he has to play more. Like I don't think he came.
That's what I was saying before the game. You saw it.
I don't think he came in. I don't think he came in early.
Start him at this point.
I don't think he came in early enough in the third, and I felt like the same thing. In the second, you're kind of like, wait, why did they wait so long? I think he came in the first after the Zeller minutes, and you're like. You can play small. You can play small against this team. Yes, Rob Will's a big, long defender, and Al Horford has made his career like being an annoying, long-ish defender. But they're not massive guys. They're not like, for example, you can't play small against a Brook Lopez, right? That's a much harder thing to do. but you can play small against these guys. And I think
just to answer some of the comments, because I don't know, I've never done this, but people are like, what did Strus do? Why are we talking about Duncan? You're absolutely right. Strus did absolutely fucking nothing tonight. Nothing. He is not a good basketball player. Couldn't make a free throw, could not hit threes, could not play defense, dribbled way too much. No. As much as I'm pissed that Duncan missed those 2 threes, he was out there because Strus was so bad and brought them absolutely nothing.
But why is Highsmith not on the floor?
Yes, Bam getting blocked by Horford is a great point. That pissed me off next level when he got the shit blocked out of him by Horford.
I want to go back. I want to go back to what Harry was saying though. On the Boston 3 thing, you had Marcus Smart 4 of 11, Derek White 3 of 7, and then the rest of the Celtics were 0 of 2 Al Horford, 0 of 4 Jaylen Brown, 0 of 3 Grant Williams, 0 of 8 Jason Tatum. So they had 7 threes tonight from 2 guys, and that was it. You can't. They had the formula tonight. Harry, before I throw it to George for his adjustments and prediction, I'm going to guess that you're predicting Celtics, but just give me a confirmation on that.
I think I just don't know. It's the way you lost, right? Let's say it was just back and forth and you didn't get a huge effort, but for them to come back like that and then to lose with 0.1 at home off the fucking Derek White guy who inbounds it, and then they're gonna try. I think they're gonna try to go up there and say, yeah, we can do this. We've done it before. We can win here. I think it's gonna be a double-digit loss. I just don't see where. Listen. Basically, what's happened in these games is if we've been able to keep it close, we've had a shot. And in the first 2 games in Boston, listen, the Celtics team, they tend to get a little tight when they did it last year in the game 7.
Oh, they're a very dumb team. They're a very dumb team.
That game was way out of the game 7 last year. That game was over
tonight
too. And I think the only thing, Barkley mentioned a lot, and he's not my favorite guy, but they take some dumb threes. They take some dumb fadeaway shots when everything else is working, and they just get a little confident, and there are some dumb shots. But I think they probably tend to fall more on the road. And I would
all the momentum going one way.
If you don't have Jimmy and Bam combining for 60 plus minimum, I don't know how you're winning that game.
But
I feel you in that.
So
1 second, I want to get to a couple donos real quick. James Todd for another $5 dono. The stain on this team after Monday night is one that will never go away. You don't recover from this with the team in its current form. No way. We were saying that this will be worse than the 3-1 Warriors choke. This will be worse than anything bubble related, Mickey Mouse, whatever, everything. This will be the thing, not just Celtics fans, your biggest rival in the sport, not just Celtics fans, all of the NBA will talk about you for the rest of time until someone else does it.
Bro, they'll probably make a 30 for 30. They did
probably. HM another $5 dono. Pre All-Star Bam 21-11-4. Post All-Star 17-8-3. Him not being stumped for All-Star changed his mind.
Somebody said post All-Star game Bam was going to be different. I don't remember who said that, but somebody said that for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to get too deep into that one, but there's definitely been a drop off for sure. And HM another $2. You don't recover from L's like this. We are cooked. I'll segue that to Maserati because it seems like you want to hop in here for I want to do adjustments and then your prediction on the last game here.
Bro, adjustments? The role players are playing so well. I literally just am like Jimmy and Bam. Drop your nuts. Let's go. That's it. That's the adjustment for real. You have to step up. You have to, in the biggest moment of Bam Adebayo's career, in my opinion. Jimmy has played finals games. Bam was way too hurt in the bubble, so I don't necessarily count it. But it's make or break. It's sink or swim for real. And the only optimistic thing that I kind of have a spin to this I had to step away because the webcam died, but neither of these teams, when you need them to come through, when everyone thinks it's going to happen and they're counting on them, both of them absolutely puke all over themselves, as Harry would say. And the Celtics do the same thing. We are now back. It has been a good week of everyone and all the pressure being on the Heat to close this out because everybody knew in the back of their mind they're not that good. So all the pressure has really been on Miami to close this out. Now all the pressure is on Boston because now everyone's looking to the finals. Now everyone's looking – absolutely. It is on their home floor. They are the 1 seed. Everyone's been talking about all week. People were predicting this after they won the first one on TV. We will be here for this. It's going to happen. All the pressure is on them to close this shit out. And we'll see what Jimmy's going to have to say about that. But listen, if Jimmy comes out there and has another stinker and it's bad, so he just ran out of gas, right? And then at that point, he coasted the whole regular season. Are we just saying that Jimmy Butler can give you 3 weeks a year at that point? It's 3 weeks a year. 3 weeks a year, he's Michael Jordan. And he had to bust it out too early because of Milwaukee, right? Like, is that what we would have to be saying as he gets another year older? And then the questions with Bam would just be magnified by 10. To me, I mean, this would be as bad as it gets for Bam. When you're up 3-0 and you have a player like Bam Adebayo, on defense alone, this should be we're getting one. We will grind out one. And he couldn't. And what Al Horford did to him tonight, shameful. Al Horford is so past his prime. It's not even funny. And again, you can't. It's crazy because we've always said build around these guys, right? The offseason, we should have made more moves. I said, right? You should have traded these guys, build around Jimmy and Bam. Do what the Lakers did this year and all this stuff. And now we're in the biggest moment, and those two dudes are not stepping up. So we'll see how it goes. But again, all the pressure's on the Celtics now. We'll see how Mazzulla handles it. I mean,
I need an official prediction. Official prediction, to be honest with you. I think the Celtics probably get it done, and I think it's going to be a really frustrating game for us to watch refereeing-wise, to be honest with you. I think the refs are going to be really all over the Celtics.
Scott Foster, masterclass, man. They've never lost to him. He's coming in.
I don't think it's double digits like you think here. I think they definitely keep it close, and I think Jimmy and Bam will play better than they played in Game 6, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I think
that's gonna make me feel worse. Just lose by a lot.
I think the Celtics could shoot really well at home, but the Celtics are really, really good in Game 7. History tells you to. So it's going to be tough. I don't think it's a blowout. I think the Heat absolutely keep it close. I think Jimmy plays better, but tonight it's really hard. And if they do it, man, so much credit to them for real to dig yourself out of this hole because this is as low as it gets. It's got to be, especially after a game, buzzer beater on your home floor like that. Like
for sure. Yep. So. Want to shout out Jason Adebwale for the $4.99. Spo being cute, putting Strus in the game to get a stop killed us. It's unrealistic to expect our role player to go on the road in Game 7 and win. I mean, the role players got them this far, so it's not like they have much of a choice to rely on anyone else. But I do want to go here to George. George, some Game 7 adjustments and then a final prediction, and we will wrap this up. We're coming up on an hour and 15 here, so give me your adjustments, George.
The adjustment is I get a refund for the $450 Miami Heat custom light I just purchased. That got literally custom made, and it's on its way. I can't refund it, so fuck that. But what are you going to do? Listen, my mind's just going a million miles an hour. There's so much going through my mind because at the start I'm thinking, you know what, maybe this could work to our advantage. So we could be the underdogs in this, right? This is where the Heat perform best, is when they're doubted, when they're down and out, when everyone thinks it's over, we're finished, sort of thing. But in the same breath, sometimes that can't just be everything. That can't just be, that's not going to be the driving factor behind every game. Historically, Boston are great in Game 7s. Historically, also, they're really bad at home. Historically, Jason Tatum sets up in these games. They did it last time. He's done it in big games before, and he's had a shit. The problem is as well, Tatum didn't even play that good. Brown didn't even play that good. Like they were effective and they weren't efficient in any which way or the other. They could play a lot worse. They could have played a lot better as well. That's what the scary part is. You don't know which version of them you're getting. If Tatum goes, 4 for 8, 3 for 8, the game's not close. If Jaylen Brown made it 3, game's not close. If they decided to actually guard Duncan, the game's not close. But in the same breath, the Heat could have done the same thing. If Jimmy made shots, game's not close. Bam made shots, game's not close. If there's 2.1 seconds on the clock, game's finished. All this little shit like that. But then it all goes back to the same thing. We've been so close so many times. You have to sort of channel some sort of mental integrity from last year's Game 7, this year's Game 6, and put it together and really say, you know what? Now we're the fucking team that's got our backs to the wall. This is it's almost written. It's almost written because this could go either one of two ways. It's either going to be a 3-point game with 8 seconds left. You know what I mean? Or a 2-point game, 8 seconds left sort of thing. Heat situation down by 2 or up by 2. Or it's going to be 43-13 at one point in the favor of the Celtics. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be either 43-13 or down by 2 with 8 seconds left. I don't see us going in there. Or we will either lose by 40 or we'll lose by 4 or 1. But what happened tonight is just completely fucked in its entirety. If I'm looking analytically, I'm talking about adjustments now. I agree. Go get Bam his shot. Go get Bam his. He needs to put points up early. I'm talking first 8 of the 10 points need to be from Bam Adebayo. That's how you get him going in that game. Or you steer away from that. He goes for his offensive rebounds. He tries for his putbacks. That's how he gets his points. You don't get bitched like that for Al Horford. He blocked your shit so cleanly and so well. And the game was fucking won. I'm going to keep my emotions from last game away now. Tyler Herro, if he is going to come back, start him on the bench. If shit starts
let's not talk about Tyler because I don't think he's coming back.
South, then you put him in. I'm just going to say that's all I'm going to say about Tyler Herro. You start Duncan Robinson. Start him. Because I don't think that if you put the exact same starting unit out there as you did today, there's going to be issues. I think Strus has hit his ceiling and he's regressing through these playoff runs super hard. You can't rely on him to get his shot back like this. He's not going to have another 21-point first half again these playoffs. Start Duncan Robinson, or you start Strus and you take him out 4 minutes in if he's missed 1 or 2 shots already. You go to Duncan earlier. You play him more because at the moment, as much ridicule as he's gotten over his time, he was our best player to close out this game. It was Duncan before he missed those 2 shots. And for the entirety of the game, it was Caleb. You don't play Zeller. You can't play Zeller. And Jimmy, you've got to give the ball to Jimmy as much as possible. He needs to turn it around because tonight was complete bullshit.
So what do we have here, George? Do you see the Heat winning in Game 7? Yes or no?
It's too hard. It's too hard to guess, to predict. My heart.
I need a guess. I need something.
Heat by 2.
Heat by 2. All right. Well, I'll give my quick thoughts. I want to see more Jimmy and Bam pick and roll action. They don't ever fucking do it, so now's the time to do it. But I am not going to go into Royals bag and tell you the Heat are going to blow that shit out because right now I think this team is in hell. I don't know how you mentally get back to a winning mindset after this. I hope they can do it, but realistically, I think I have to take the Celtics, unfortunately. And I don't think it really will be close. I'm not rooting for that, of course. I would love that to be incorrect. My prediction was Celtics in 7 at the beginning of the series. Did not think it would go this fucking way, of course. But it's got to be really, really difficult to go on the road after blowing 3 straight. All the pressure in the world is on you to not be the first team to blow a 3-0 lead. So I hope I'm wrong. If Ro were here, he would tell me to shut the fuck up. He's about to blow that shit out. Fuck am I talking about? But Royal is not here, so you get the depressed white guys stream. But that is going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank everyone that joined us in the comments, donated, just stuck out a absolutely atrocious Game 6 ending there for us. Shout out to Ricky, Harry, Alex Maserati, and George. George is the only one that stuck around. Those other 3 dudes left us early, kind of like the Heat did tonight. But we are going to wrap it up on that note. and I guess play the video me. See you game 7.
Oh yeah, we packing somebody up tonight. Hey, come on in, take your shoes off before we close the door. Few rules, heat packing the air, we about to blow. This the basement, ain't nobody safe. You already know. Grab a seat and kick your feet before you get too comfortable. You want the X's and the O's, the Trey, yes and no, friends and the foes, the Butlers and the Herro. You can feel it in your soul. The win the ring is the goal, but if somebody need to go, we be sure to let you know. Going hard for my dogs is an everyday thing, like Jimmy down the lane of 13 off the screen. Whole squad keep it tucked like number 17. Bring your takes and your memes, going hard for the team. Going down in the basement. It's going down in the basement. Get your takes off. Get your takes off. Going down in the basement.